Welcome to the Drew Yari Show.
Welcome to the show, guys. It is Wednesday. It's another episode of The Experience. I am Drew. We're creeping up to summer here in San Antonio. And we're feeling that hot, humid-ass weather. It's a joy. With me, as always, is another fellow San Antonian.
Yes, Justin from Spinebuster Tees and SpinebusterTees.com.
Yes, sir. And, like I mentioned, it is humid here in San Antonio. Not just hot, humid. We just got done with a whole week of rain, and now the sun is shining, and we're getting ready for summer, which is crazy to think about because we're already getting to the middle of the year. So let's just hope these next few months seem to kind of skate by like they did last year. But anyways, let's get it started. So last week we had WWE Backlash in lovely Paris, France. And it was in the LDLC Arena on May the 4th. In, Decennes, Charpieu, I'm butchering the name, I'm sorry, in Metropolis of Lyon, France. And tagline is, Nightmares Do Come True. Attendance is 11,628 people, which allegedly was the biggest gate for any WWE pay-per-view, unless I'm getting that wrong.
Yeah, biggest gate in WWE, yeah, I think regular pay-per-view in WWE history or something like that. Or biggest gate in WWE history, something crazy like that, yeah.
It's non-WrestleMania, if that's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
But that's cool. Good for them. There were only 5 matches, which is weird. I was expecting maybe a 6th match, which probably could have maybe added a 6th match, but, you know. It was a pay-per-view at 12 p.m. in the afternoon, and it ended around 2:30, or I think before 3, more than likely.
Triple H is going back to the NXT formula, 5-match shows. Some maybe 6, but I think less is more, and you know, quality over quantity, and that's what this show proved. Like he didn't really need that 6th match or 7th match. I didn't think it was necessary.
Right. Okay. I agree. Which is good. You know, just you don't need 13 matches on one show. I mean, if it's WrestleMania 6, I mean, not even like WrestleMania night 1 will do like maybe 6 matches. Night 2 will do 7 matches. But it's WrestleMania, so you go all out for Mania. But yeah, I think 5 to 6 matches on a pay-per-view work better. Like you said, less is more. But I guess before we get started, what was your overall view on the Paris crowd, or the France crowd, I mean?
Best crowd in WWE history from top to bottom.
Right. I saw a lot of complaints. People be like, you know, these crowd chants are annoying. What are they doing? I mean, they didn't bother me. Like there was maybe one point during the main event match where I was just like, what are they saying? Like, because it was kind of distracting at some points, and I put it on Twitter, like, you know, if you're in France or you're at the show, what's the crowd chanting? And, you know, for AJ, they were chanting his theme, I Am Phenomenal, and then the other one was the France national anthem. Didn't bother me. I know it bothers some people, and I can see why, but it didn't bother me. Thought it was great. But let's get it started. The first match of the day, it's day here, it's night over in France. Yep. But first match of the day for us, tag team it was originally just going to be a regular tag team match. The Bloodline, Sol Sikoa and Tama Tonga with Paul Heyman versus Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. Before the match even started, they just started beating the shit out of each other. They had to be pulled apart by security. And then Nick Aldis came out and said, you know, you don't want to follow the rules, fine, let's make it a street fight. So it turned into a street fight, and this was fun. This is a fun opener for the night, or for the day, I guess. Tama Tonga, I think, is very good. I mean, he's always been good. You know, why am I acting surprised? But he was very good in this. I mean, it was interesting seeing him hold his own against Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. Solo, I don't know, like something's kind of off with Solo. I'm not sure what it is, but he seems a little off lately. So Tama was definitely the one kind of doing the heavy lifting as far as like workload. Kevin just looked like he was having fun. Him and Tama really went at it. especially in the one spot where he does that kind of like an inverted suplex onto the steel chairs. I thought that was fun. I mean, it looked brutal, but it looked pretty. It was a pretty sick spot. No debut of Jacob Fatu, but we ended up getting Tonga Loa, who, if anyone recognizes that face, he was Camacho. Was it 10 years ago? He's also the brother of Tama Tonga, and they were the Gorillas of Destiny. So people seem pretty psyched about it. I, to be honest, I didn't know who he was. I saw him and I went, "Did Jacob Fatu get a haircut?" Like, oh no, that's not him. That's Tonga Loa. And I'm like, okay, cool. You know, another Samoan. They obviously want to weight off on Fatu because they want to make him feel like a big deal, which I get, deservingly so. You're not just going to have him come out and just do a random spot. Like, you want to make his debut feel special. In the end, Bloodline got the win, and Paul Heyman just looked like he was deathly afraid of Tonga Loa. But what did you think about the match and the debut of, or I guess the re-debut of Tonga Loa?
Well, touch on the re-debut of Tonga Loa. Great. I expected. No one knew because of the fact that New Japan didn't say that his contract was up. That's why I didn't put him in my predictions, like, oh, him coming over. I thought he was still signed to New Japan. But apparently, his deal and Tama Tonga's deal were one. So WWE apparently signed them both at the same time, kept Tonga Loa off TV, and they debuted him here, which is great. So, love the GLD, love the Gorillas of Destiny. They were one of the best tag teams in New Japan over the last 10 years. If you look at the course of tag teams in New Japan over the last 10 years, it's them, it's Gallows and Anderson. You do have like a lot of other teams. I mean, you want to count the Young Bucks in there. They were the tag champions there too. But yeah, I really, really am so happy that we're gonna see, the Gorillas of Destiny versus the Usos in 2024. So that's gonna be pretty fucking cool. So glad that he's there. Definitely fits in part of the Bloodline. Great. As far as the match is concerned, I thought everyone did excellent in this match. I thought Tama Tonga looked great in his first WWE official WWE match. He's always been great, but now people can see like, oh my god, he's actually great. Well, no, he's been great for fucking over 10 years. But Soul did very well in this match. Kevin Owens did very well, and Randy Orton did very well. And the fact that they make this a street fight, no holds barred street fight, was the right decision as well, because if this was a regular a regular tag team match when this was a blood feud, then it just wouldn't work. It wouldn't work at all. So glad that they changed it up. And I will go on to say this to me is it's definitely up there as one of the best openers in WWE history as a non-Big Four pay-per-view event. I think it's really up there. Right. I thought it was so good. The crowd made it what it was, and it was everything that you wanted to be for a match. I thought it was excellent, great match.
So, how would you debut Jacob Fatu, or how do you think they're going to debut Jacob Fatu?
At this point, I will put Jacob Fatu with the babyfaces. So put him with the Usos and Roman Reigns. You can't keep at this point, baby faces are so at this point because Roman's not there, Jimmy's injured, Jay's on Raw, right? You need to give them somebody. I mean, if they're not going to go with Sami Zayn, I think Jake will be the best fit. And also on top of that as well, you can always turn Jacob later on because he has those heel mannerisms, those heel tendencies to where you can turn them later on. But from the beginning, I think they can just have him as babyface. How you debut him, I don't fucking know. They'll figure that out. But yeah, I think when he does debut, I think him being on the babyface team, at least temporarily, is the right move.
All right, fair enough. All right, so we move on to the next match, which was a triple threat for the WWE Women's Championship: Bayley versus Naomi versus Tiffany Stratton. I thought this was good. Not great, but good. to be honest, I think looking back at the match, it probably should have been Tiffany versus Bayley, but they're probably going to hold off on that till maybe like SummerSlam. I'm assuming, because I don't know. I don't know. This is just. It looked like Naomi kind of disappeared after the in the match after a while, and then it was just Tiffany and Bayley. Again, I love Tiffany. We both like Tiffany. She definitely does still have a lot of growing up to do as far as like, getting rid of that green, because there was definitely a lot of green in this match with her. And there was a certain point in the match that Tiffany looked like she was trying to go at 100 miles an hour, and Bayley kind of had to just like pull her, just like grab her and say, "Hey, chill, slow down, we got this." But yeah, again, Tiffany did great. Bayley's always great. Naomi, again, I hate to say it, in my opinion, I thought she was maybe the weak factor of the match. But still not a terrible match. I wasn't crazy about the ending. I didn't like the fact that Bayley went the roll up. I guess maybe they just still kind of want to protect Naomi in some aspect. But yeah, the match went as expected. Bayley winning, and yeah. What are your thoughts?
Would you have, you said, maybe you want to have Bayley versus Tiffany. Would you pin Tiffany this early in her run?
Well, let me kind of rephrase it. I said the way the match looked like it was pretty much Bayley and Tiffany on their own, and Naomi kind of disappeared into the match.
Right, but you mentioned that like this could have been just Tiffany versus.
I was assuming because
right.
Because they really do love them some Tiffany, and I love Tiffany too. But I think if maybe they did go with Tiffany and Bayley so soon, it probably would have been a bad idea, because Tiffany, again, she's great, but she's still a little green, and you want to maybe hold off on that future matchup. Maybe I'm assuming SummerSlam. Right. But it's kind of one of those like double-edged sword kind of ideas.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Yeah. I thought it was a good match. I thought it was a good triple threat women's tag match. I thought all three women did very well here. Bayley was so fucking over. Oh yeah. And Tiffany was over. Naomi was over as well. I thought, I thought three women did great here. The roll up win, I thought that was good, because you do not want Naomi to, I won't say look weak, but you don't want to have her to take the pin. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. It didn't hurt the match. Like the match win made a difference on if Naomi would have got hit with the Rose Plant or something, or Bayley to Bayley or whatever it is, right? Like it wouldn't made the match better or worse.
Right.
So her taking the roll up here, I didn't mind at all. You know what I mean? So, and plus you gotta protect Tiffany as well. So I thought it was a good decision.
All right. Next is you had before the next match, you had Jey Uso in a backstage segment where he encounters the Bloodline. He sees Solo, he sees Tama Tonga, and then he sees Tonga Loa, and then Paul Heyman just looks very emotional. Just wants to say I'm sorry, but he can't. And then Jay's conflicted. You still beat up my brother at the end of the day, regardless of what we've been through. It's just like, and that was your brother too. Like, you're our little brother. Like, what the fuck? So I was thinking there was going to be some foreshadowing for the next match, but that was not the case. But nonetheless, next match you had for the World Heavyweight Championship, Damian Priest versus Jey Uso. Jey Uso got a big ass fucking reaction from that French crowd. They love Jey Uso. There's no denying that Jey Uso has one of the more entertaining entrances in the company. Top 3, top 5. He gets over. People like saying yeet. Unfortunately, when the match begins, it's kind of a different story. But and then Damian Priest comes out, and yeah, the match wasn't terrible. Wasn't great. I just thought it was fine. It was a fine match. Damian, I really like Damian. He's great. He has a look. He's very creative in the ring. I think there's something missing with him, and I don't know what it is.
He wasn't ready for this world title reign.
No, like you look at Drew McIntyre.
as I stated months ago, he's not ready. And look what we're getting now. Again, I like him. I love Damian Priest, but like we want something. Oh, because it's different. It's new. Like we can't force something just because a section of fans want it. And I'm glad that they're trying it. By the way, I'm glad that they're trying it. But it's just at the end of the day, like to me, this reign's not working so far. Now it still has time to turn around for sure, 100% sure. Definitely has time to turn around, but as of right now, it's looking pretty. It's looking pretty stale, you know. And I was concerned with this title reign. I was concerned with this title reign, with the R-Truth being involved in the first promo as world champion.
Yes,
terrible start. But you know, it is what it is. I mean, it is what it is.
Like, what do you think sets him apart from Drew McIntyre, besides the fact that Drew's actually over? Like, what's the difference between him and Drew about what makes their character different?
Between Damian and Drew McIntyre?
Like, Drew McIntyre right now, like, Drew is on the best run of his career, as far as career-wise. And, you know, Damian looks like he should be, you know, having that kind of ovation, but there's just something missing about him. And yeah, I mean, you kind of just said what it is, but like, you know, I guess to kind of reiterate, what sets both of them apart?
I mean, WWE treats Drew McIntyre more seriously than Damian Priest.
Do you also think that, I think you might already answer this, and if I'm asking again, I'm sorry, but like, do you think it's just like when you hear Drew talk, you believe what he's saying, and when you hear Damian talk,
yeah, he's more believable.
Yeah, like when you hear Damian talk, yeah.
He's more, not saying that Damian's not believable, but Drew's more believable. I feel that they book Drew stronger than Damian Priest. Damian Priest had to carry around the Money Make briefcase, and he was a tag champion and all that stuff. Like, even though he had those things, those accolades, I think some of that kind of brought him down because you could tell that Damian's being used as a secondary guy, because if Seth Rollins wasn't injured, if Punk wasn't injured, do you think that Damian Priest will be in this position right now? No. Possibly so. It's a good possibility, but again, I still think that, look, I like Damian Priest, but there are levels to this, right? Damian Priest, he can be a world champion. Or to me, he's more of just an upper mid card guy and like slightly below the main event. That's just the way it is, in my opinion. It's just the way it is. Not everyone could be in that position. I fucking want Ricochet to be the world champion, but I know it's not gonna fucking happen. You know what I mean? Not anytime soon, at least, right? There's levels to this. You know what I mean? There's levels to this. I'd much rather have Finn Balor as champion right now over Damian Priest currently. Is Finn Balor the answer? Probably not, but I believe Finn Balor more than why I would Damian Priest at this particular point in time. So, but yeah, no, it is what it is. He still has time. He still has time for them to turn around with him. It's not over yet for him. They had a good match. I thought this match was very good. Between him and Jay at Backlash. Both men worked extremely hard. The crowd was hot all night, but they were hot during this match in particular as well. You know, there was a chance that we thought Jay was going to win. There was a possibility, even though that Damian was going to kick out of the Uso splash. But, you know, at the end of the day, though, Damian ended up winning. Good match. But Damian I need something more. I need something more to sink my teeth into. It seems like they're going to start doing that with the whole Judgment thing breaking up. Fans going to turn on Damian eventually, and they're going to have their match, and I'm assuming that Damian's going to win, and he's going to win that feud. But honestly, babyface Damian Priest is world champion. I don't know if I want to see that. It's gonna happen, but I don't know if that's the right answer to this situation right now. So, but yeah.
Right, well said. Next is you had a tag team match for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. You had Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill versus Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane. Wasn't feeling this match, not because it was bad per se. I don't put the blame on Jade. I thought Jade looked decent, not great, but decent. I mean, you can tell a lot of the trained performance center has really come.
It was
full circle.
gas, man.
Oh yeah. I mean, and Bianca's great. You can't really blame Bianca for anything. Kabuki Warriors got no reaction. They got nothing, and this is a crowd that was hot for everything. I'm telling you, dude. Like, they came out, and I'm not saying like it was like you can hear a pin needle drop, like, but they didn't really get a reaction the way like most people got. So it was not pretty good. Yeah, the match wasn't great. It was good. It was serviceable. It was a match. It did what it needed to do. It got Jade over. And just that, ending of the match where Jade is grabbing Kari and she's like flipping her around and putting her in her finishing move. I thought that was pretty cool. That was pretty sweet to watch. Jade and Bianca are now the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, which is expected, and it definitely does maybe make those tag titles look better and more seriously, because you have two women that look like they should be in a superhero movie. Like, they look like badasses. They look cool. And, I don't know, hold on to those titles as long as you can. It's unlikely you were going to get a feud with Jade and Bianca. I mean, I know the idea could be maybe have Jade go heel. I would rather have Bianca go heel, because Bianca needs... And I'm going to explain why. Why I think Bianca should go heel is, I think it could really give more sympathy to Jade. And Bianca for a while has kind of been a little, I don't want to say complacent, but like there's some she needs something. She needs an edge. And I've always been on the idea Bianca works better as a heel, because you call yourself the EST. It's like, that's not something a face would do. But I don't know, just me. And also,
well, I mean, Bret Hart was the best there is, best was, best there will be. They ain't. I don't know what.
Well, he also earned that. But and then the Rock,
Bianca hasn't earned the EST.
No, I'm not saying she hasn't. I'm saying, like, over the years, like, people start off as heels and then face and heels, blah blah blah. Like the Rock, he started off being the happy-go-lucky baby face, and then he got booed because he was the happy-go-lucky baby face, and he's like, you know what, fuck you, I'm gonna insult all of you, and they're like, yes, we love it. Be that. Became a face, and then he became Hollywood Hot Rock and blah, blah. For Bianca, I think, her being a heel works better, and then eventually the crowd will appreciate her more, and then she'll have a better character going back to a face. I don't know, just me.
But do you think, like for Bianca, right? The fans are not necessarily booing her or anything like that.
No. Bianca, people love Bianca. I love Bianca. I'm just saying, like...
Yeah, I agree. She should turn heel. I'm just making the conversation. No. She should turn heel, and she is going to turn heel, and she's going to go up to Bayley. But
no one hates
there's a world of problems with this situation right now. Not necessarily Jade or Bianca. It's these fucking tag team titles.
Right.
Like, they won. Great. Happy for them. But who are they gonna face off against? What's the division? Right. Who's the believable team that's gonna take the titles off of them?
Yeah, true. I mean, again, that's Creative's problem.
Well, I mean, it's our problem too, because we're fucking watching, we're reviewing this, so it's I gotta call that out, because right. I think that like I said, I'm fair and balanced across everything. If I see something wrong, this is one wrong thing right here. I guarantee you. They're going to have matches. They're going to against makeshift tag teams. And there's going to be some tag teams there that they'll actually feud against. But fuck me, man. Like, I don't like this whatsoever. And now, because they're not going to face off against the Kabuki Warriors again. Now, here's the thing. Jade and Bianca, they can now come to Raw. So that's one thing there, because since these tag titles are universal, they can come to Raw now. So that's one thing.
And
but
NXT.
Oh yeah, and NXT too, yeah, but there's no one down there.
Right. Another thing I was going to say is, Rhea, whenever she does come back from her injury, she's going to be a fucking face. Like, there's no doubt about that. She's going to be a face, so a face Rhea Ripley, an over like Rover face Rhea Ripley versus a heel Bianca at Mania.
How's that going to happen?
I'm just saying, like, if it happens, I mean, I don't know how it's going to happen, but it's going to happen because they've been teasing that Mania match for years.
Unless Rhea wins the Royal Rumble or something like that, okay. And Bianca's champion on SmackDown, okay, I can see that.
Well, I mean, Rhea's going to get her title back more than likely, and by the way it looks, I don't think we're going to get Rhea and Bianca even at next year's Mania in Vegas, which, you know, that's another announcement. Mania's in Vegas, which we all expected. It's more than likely going to be Bianca and Jade. And they've been teasing Rhea and Bianca for a while because it's like 1 year we think we're getting Rhea and Bianca, but we got Rhea and Charlotte, which that was great. And then we got Bianca and Asuka, which that was good. Not great, but good. So yeah, they really want this match to mean something because those two were kind of the cornerstone of the women's division in NXT at the time. So they want that match to mean something. They want these two to really go through the ringer as far as like character development, because, you know, Rhea when she got to the main roster, she was kind of lost, and then she got turned heel and became mommy. And Bianca, they just really like put a rocket ship on her and just said, you're our big new baby face in the women's division. And it worked because, again, love Bianca. You always see her in, you know, do Make-A-Wish stuff and do stuff for charity, and she was in the Slim Jim commercial with LA Knight. So but yeah, just spitballing. It's just the theory I have. But what do you think about the match?
Oh, the match was fine. Actually, Thunder Rosa, she stopped by and she dropped off some flyers for MPW, and she ended up watching the match with me. But I thought the match was fine, though. I thought it was fine. I thought all four women worked hard. There were some spots that were kind of questionable. At the end of the day, I thought the overall match was fine for what it was.
All right. Now we get to the main event for the undisputed WWE Championship. You had Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles. Both guys coming out to really big reactions. AJ getting serenaded by the French crowd, you know, singing his theme pretty much throughout the whole freaking match. Cody coming out and the whole crowd, you know, chanting his theme, like word by word. Yeah, Cody's over anywhere he goes. I like the match. I thought it was a fantastic event. I love AJ. AJ's 46 and he's still jacked. He's a physical freak. And Cody's Cody. I love Cody. So I thought this was a really good match. I don't know how to say this. I thought this match would have worked a lot better if it was Cody fighting from underneath and being the underdog and AJ being a heel and trying to cheat to win instead of it being 50-50. And I say that because a lot of Cody's run in the past 2 years has been finish the story and all, you know, the odds are stacked against him. And, you know, he got screwed over by Roman at Mania, and then he almost got screwed over again by Dwayne and Roman, and then finally, you know, he overcomes the odds and beats Roman. And then he has a 50-50 match with AJ. And again, I know I love AJ to death. I will always love AJ. Always been a fan of AJ. But AJ is the guy that puts... At this point, AJ, he's putting over the other guy. That's more over. So again, I didn't hate the fact that the match was 50-50. I just would have preferred a different kind of match. So again, not trying to say I hated the match. I really do love the match. I just would have preferred a different match, if that makes sense. But what'd you think about it?
That match was perfect for what it was. To me, this is the best in-ring WWE match so far this year.
Right.
Bell to bell. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was really, really damn good. Now, obviously, the WrestleMania match is the better overall match because it's a story, obviously. But when you're talking about in-ring wrestling, this is WWE's in-ring wrestling match of the year so far. And that's one thing that I did mention, too. Roman's reign and Cody's reigns are going to be different. Cody's reigns is going to be based off of in-ring, in the in-ring classics, per se. This was like to me, almost felt like, not quite, but almost felt like an early AEW type match too as well. That Joe Gallen fucking Dynamite or on fucking on Double or Nothing. Those matches was excellent, really good.
All right. Yeah, just AJ out there. I'm not gonna say he still has it. He's always had it. But yeah, was able to kind of prove that he's still the guy, or he's still the guy that can go out there and be the AJ of old and also be a new AJ. But yeah, I thought it was a really good match. I know I just said I probably would have preferred a different match, just to kind of like you, because I know you said last week that Roman's reign, pun intended, was all about theatrics. It was about, overproduced matches to tell a story, whatever that story was. With Cody is very much of the mindset of, I want to have good matches, which I don't have a problem with, but I don't know. We'll see, because again, it's his first title defense since Mania on a PLE. We'll see what happens at the next pay-per-view event, whoever he does. PLE. Fuck it, it's pay-per-view to me. I'm gonna say pay-per-view. I don't care. But we'll see who he defends against. I'm very worried, after the draft, because Raw is very stacked with talent. SmackDown, I'm looking at the landscape and it's just like, more than likely we're gonna get Cody and Randy. That's possibly gonna be a SummerSlam match. LA Knight could be a match. And they could dust off John Cena and bring him back for a dream match, quote unquote. As far as like other talent, it's just like, who is Cody really gonna face? Like Bobby Lashley?
It's gonna be a struggle. It's gonna be a struggle. I think he may face AJ one more time, but you got Randy. I mean, I'm naming names. I'm not saying that he's gonna face him, but like Randy, you got Randy, Kevin Owens, Bobby Lashley, Logan Paul potentially. I mean, there are names there. LA Knight. There are names there, but it's gonna be a little bit of a struggle, I think, in my personal opinion.
Right. So I mean, again, you just mentioned Logan Paul. That could be another one. I mean, whether he's the U.S. champion or not, that can be like champion versus champion match or whatever. Just an idea, but. Yeah, it's just you look at Raw, like there's some names that are on Raw that I thought could have been better suited on SmackDown for Cody. Like, I was thinking Gunther was going to go to SmackDown. I was thinking Bronson Reed could have gone to SmackDown. I mean, I know you said keep him away from SmackDown, but Braun Breaker could one. I
wouldn't have Braun Breaker on SmackDown.
Yeah, I know it's because of Melo. I get the whole Melo thing. You want to keep them apart. Because you eventually want to do that big match. I mean, you could have Melo on Raw and Braun Breaker on SmackDown, sure, but
I
mean, and another guy I like. I know you're not crazy about him. Dijak, that could have been an opponent as far as like Cody.
Not for the world title, man.
Yeah, well, it could have been an underdog match of Cody getting his ass beat and finally coming out to win. But again, this is just me. And I know he's not ready, and I wish he was ready. But you can have an Oba Femi versus Cody, where Oba just beats the shit out of Cody for the whole match, and Cody wins.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that either. I mean, and plus he's champion in NXT too as well. So yeah.
I mean, heaven forbid you can do Cody versus Jacob Fatu whenever he comes in. That could
eventually, That's cool. Or like I'll do Cody versus fucking Tama Tonga. Even though I know that's like, or Cody versus Solo, or like, I mean, like, but yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, I mean, Cody's in a rough spot right now. That's all I gotta say. Cody's in a rough spot.
I don't know.
He's not gonna pick up until he faces. He's gonna face The Rock most likely at SummerSlam.
Which that's the whole thing about protecting champions. I think that's what's kind of hurt him, is just we were kind of assuming put Cody on Raw since Raw is going to Netflix, and Cody wants to bleed. Like that could have been a better choice and put the Judgment Day on SmackDown. Instead, it's just like, no, let's protect the champions. It's like, yeah, that's not really a good idea. That's not really. Well, I mean, kind of worries me a little bit.
I mean, it's something new. I like it, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah.
All right. So that was Backlash. What would you rate Backlash?
I give it 8.5 out of 10.
I might go a little lower than you. I'll probably say 7.5 out of 10. Fantastic show. The crowd was great. To me, I thought the spectacle of the show being in France meant more than the matches. Even though the matches were fine, the matches weren't bad. It's just I think the whole show was built more on the spectacle that it's in France and the French crowd. So
I mean, that's what happens when you get one to me, in my opinion, the best crowd I've ever seen for a WWE show. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
All right. So let's go to Raw. So Raw kickstarted the King and Queen of the Ring tournament. The event will be on May the 25th on a Saturday. That'll also be the next Q&A show. So that'll be a Q&A and a King and Queen of the Ring pay-per-view review. So the show kicked off. Originally it was supposed to be Drew McIntyre versus Finn Balor in a first-round matchup. Drew McIntyre is still not medically cleared. So he was replaced by by main event Jey Uso, and Jey Uso won in a decent match. Drew McIntyre came out after the match just looking pissed off at Jey. So Jey is the first one to advance the next round, and then afterwards Drew was pissed off at Adam Pearce. Why would you replace him with Jey Uso? What the hell? And he's leaving in his car, and then right behind him is CM Punk. And, CM Punk was allegedly trapped inside of Titan Towers for the whole weekend after Saturday, and he pretty much posted the whole story on Instagram. I thought was kind of funny.
Hilarious. It was great shit.
I don't know. I was hoping he would have elaborated more on it when he came back. Where he's like, yeah, it was quite a weekend. I did A, B, C, and D. But no, he came back and, he told Adam Pearce, hit my music. Comes out and talks about Drew McIntyre and cuts another good promo. Not a great one, but a good one. Punk never really cuts a bad promo, as we all have known. It's funny because during the promo, I guess he kind of quoted Kendrick Lamar's diss at Drake. Where he said, you hate the way that I talk, hate the way that I walk, hate the way that I blah, blah, blah. I see you shaking your head. I know how much you love Drake.
I fucking hate Drake.
I know.
God, I will say this. I don't want anything bad to happen to him or anything like that. But as a rapper, there's not many, there's not many things I hate. I hate Drake. I hate, man. Anyway.
Right. So, and then he tells Drew, you hate me so much, that means you hate yourself. And just pretty much elaborates, pretty much tells, Pat McAfee, text him and tell him I'm here because, he needs to come here. And then just tells him, I'm going to make your life a living hell, elaborating on what happened last week. Again, Punk cuts another good promo. It's always good seeing Punk. They're in Hartford, Connecticut, I believe, which is where Titan Towers is. But overall thoughts on the Punk promo?
Very good promo. Let's see him fucking Punk. He's one of the best to ever do it. It was a great promo. When he first came out there, I thought he was gonna say I'm cleared. But he's kind of alluded to it a little bit as well, that he's very close to being cleared, and because he also said, next time we're in the ring with each other or we're together, I'm going to slap the taste out of your mouth, or wherever he said. So I think Punk's close to being to be coming back.
Yeah, it looks like it, because he hasn't been wearing that thing on his arm. So I think it's going to be sooner rather than later. Also, there was a bit during the promo where he says, Drew is a choke artist. Not I'm a choke artist, right, Pat? So let's shoot, brother. Let me just go through the rest of the card and we'll just kind of talk about it. Yet another Queen of the Ring tournament match. Natalya, versus Io Sky. It was a decent match. Io Sky won. I thought it was Natalya's best match in years. Yeah, good match.
I thought it was a really damn good match.
Not the biggest Natty fan, but she can work. I never said that she couldn't work. So this is a good match. Can't complain. King of the Ring tournament. This probably the best TV match of the year. Ricochet
The
versus
best TV
Ilya
match of the
Dragunov.
year across both companies. Yeah, this is my favorite TV match of the year so far.
Ilya fucking Dragunov. Like, to quote you, he can sell me a ketchup flavored lollipop or a popsicle, however you want to put it. He is just so damn good. He makes everything look.
It's fantastic.
I mean, Ricochet is already good. I mean, if you're not a fan of the high spots, put Ricochet in with somebody who's more grounded and can work, and he's going to match that style. And Ricochet really went into his bag, as the kids say, and just showed off with Dragunov, and these two just beat the shit out of each other. Like, in the end, Dragunov, had that little blood spot in the middle of his head, and the crowd likes him, which I'm happy, because I'm always worried when somebody from NXT that I like comes to the main roster, and granted, the old regime would just throw him out into the sharks. Nowadays, they're doing things how they should have done it, which is, let's put out a package and show the people who this guy is. Let's show him why he's badass. And they did that for Ilya. And, he got a nice reaction from the crowd. And it also helps that the guy can work. And he can take a beating. And you can put him in with anybody, whether it's somebody his size or shorter or taller. He makes that shit look believable. So overall, this is a fucking fantastic match. I watched it again. That's how much I loved it. I don't think I've watched a Raw match twice. But this is a great match. I can't make any complaints about it at all. What do you think?
WWE is going to treat the King of the Ring like AEW's treated the Continental Classic, where they're showing like, hey, we can have fucking matches like you guys too as well, and we can have them just as good. So I think this King of the Ring tournament is a statement from Triple H. In my opinion, I don't know if that's the goal, but this match in the main event kind of felt that way to me. Even Natty and Io too, on the women's side of things.
Oh yeah, definitely. I love King of the Ring. I love the King of the Ring tournament. My issue with the King of the Ring with WWE in the past decade is just you putting in guys that really aren't over. And nowadays you have, with this company, it's like stacked with talent that are so good and they're getting over. It's like we finally have a King of the Ring tournament with guys that are over and that are good. So I'm happy. I'm happy like a pig in shit, as they say. I'm happy. Next is you had another Queen of the Ring match. You had Ivy Nile versus Zoe Stark. Zoe won. It was a match. I'll just say I like that. I generally like both women. I like Zoe, and I like Ivy. But it wasn't a terrible match, but it was a match. I'll just put it that way.
I'll say it sucked.
Okay,
It sucked. I mean, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. The match, love both. As you know, I love both women, but the match sucked. I mean, it just is what it is. They didn't click together in this match. I know they're capable of having better matches with each other, but this one in particular sucked.
Okay.
It happens.
Next is you had Big Bronson Reed versus Chad Gable. Decent match for the most part. And in no contest after Sami Zayn came out and beat the shit out of Chad Gable. So getting his receipt, as they say. And Sami Zayn made the challenge for Chad Gable. Was it just Chad Gable or Bronson? Or
I think it's supposed to be a triple threat. I think.
Okay, at King and Queen.
I think.
Right, at King and Queen of the Ring. So that should be a barn burner.
Yeah, I believe it's supposed to be a triple threat. I'll double check right now, but yeah.
And other notes. Dom was trying to introduce Carlito to Judgment Day, and Damian pushed him away. And nice video package for Lyra, or I keep calling her Lyra, whatever. Valkyra ahead of her Queen of the Ring match, so good. Good to see Lyra getting some love. Becky Lynch comes out and cuts a promo about Liv Morgan.
It is a triple threat, by the way. So
nice. Becky comes out and cuts a promo, a sit-down interview with Michael Cole. I personally wasn't crazy about the segment. Again, I love Becky. I would have liked if she had taken some time off, but Rhea got hurt, so she kind of had to take over the spot again, which I get.
Becky's turned to John Moxley. She's all she wanted is a vacation. All Moxley wanted was a vacation, and Punk was like, "Yeah, let's have Brawl out."
Yeah, exactly. Liv Morgan comes out, and then Damage Control comes out to surround the ring, and Liv Morgan looks like she's going to fight alongside Becky, and then she rolls out and goes, "Not my problem," which I thought was kind of funny. Lyra comes out, unfortunately, to really no reaction, which kind of makes me sad a little bit, but basically just set up her match with Dakota. It was a decent match, her and Dakota. Lyra got the win, as expected. Good to see Lyra on the big time, on the mainstream, stage. And she beat Dakota Kai. What do you think?
I thought it was a very, very good showing from both women. Very, very good. This is how you debut Lyra for sure. And Dakota looked pretty good in this match as well.
Right. Again, love Dakota. Love that theme too. I love Dakota's theme. And the main event of Raw ended up being was another King of the Ring tournament match. You had Sheamus versus Gunther Part 3. And as we all expected, it was a fucking great, brutal barn burner of a match with Gunther just chopping the shit out of Sheamus. To which, afterwards, Sheamus put up a tweet saying, "There's not going to be a Part 4," which I get. It's just like he's just brutalizing that dude, making him look like chopped hamburger, basically. But yeah, this is a great match. Not as great as the first one at the what is it, the Castle Battle at the Castle pay-per-view or whatever it was called.
Clash at the Castle.
Clash at the Castle. There you go. But still a very good match. I liked Ludwig getting involved in being Gunther's minion and attacking Sheamus while the ref wasn't looking, and the ref finally saw him and threw his ass out. Gunther wins with submission. Sheamus taps out. I don't think I've ever seen Sheamus tap out before. But Gunther got the win, and he's moving on. And Sheamus got his flowers from the crowd after the show went off the air. So that's night one of Raw's King and Queen of the Ring matches. What did you think?
That was a fantastic main event. The story being told in the match was Sheamus's knee, which Gunther worked on, and that's how he got the tap out with the half crab. So, fantastic main event.
Other notes, Kofi Kingston and Rey Mysterio will compete at a live event, and Zelina Vega and I believe Shayna Baszler will compete at a live event as well for their King of the Ring or Queen of the Ring matches.
That's what this event's all about. This is what the King of the Ring's all about. Having these great matches. One thing I will note: if they're gonna have these at the live events, WWE should film the matches and upload them to their YouTube page for free.
Yeah, agreed.
But I don't know. I don't know if they don't like making money, or I know they do, but I'm pretty sure that'll get a good amount of views. I think so.
I don't know. I think they will because it's King of the Ring. It's Rey Mysterio versus Kofi Kingston, which I don't think that match has happened as far as I know. And then Zelina.
Oh yeah, that's happened for sure.
Oh, okay. And then Zelina, she's the former Queen of the Ring, so you would think that that her match would get advertised, but no, it's just me. SmackDown, their matches for Friday, I hope it's Friday, will be AJ Styles versus Randy Orton, Baron Corbin versus Carmelo Hayes, Elliott versus Santos Escobar, and Bobby Lashley versus Tama Tonga. So, another wrestling heavy week for WWE.
So, let's start prediction. Who do you think is going to be the finals? What do you think the finals are going to be?
Ooh. I think Gunther is going to be on Raw. Gunther from Raw, I mean. And on SmackDown, I would say... I'm torn. I would love to see Gunther versus Bobby Lashley, but I doubt that's going to happen. Maybe Gunther versus Randy Orton?
Yeah, that's why I got Gunther and Orton. If it's not Gunther and Orton, I think they may do Ilya and Orton.
Ooh.
Gunther's like 99.9% going to the finals, but if it ain't gonna be Gunther, I think it's Ilya.
I'm fine with that because I love both men. But that was all. Let's go to NXT real quick. The return of Wesley. Wesley came back last week At the beginning of the show, they had a nice little video package of Wesley's journey, getting injured, and then making his return to the company. And then as soon as the package ended, you see Wesley very visibly emotional and choked up. And a lot of NXT wrestlers, clapping and, showing praise. And I thought that was great. I thought that was awesome. Wesley saying, I'm finally back home. The show opens with Wesley versus Josh Briggs. Fantastic match. Nice way for Wesley to come back to the company against an opponent like Josh Briggs. He hasn't lost a step. He can obviously still work. Fans love the shit out of him. I mean, just again, Wesley's journey has been interesting. He was in a really good tag team that we were all assuming they were going to be like kind of the next Hardys on the main roster, and then what happened with Nash Carter, which I'm still pissed off about that. I know Nash Carter in life he's doing well. He's having success in TNA and he's getting married to Gigi Dolan, so I can't say I feel sorry for the guy, but I'm still mad for the guy the way he got fired. But nonetheless, it's good. Wesley, he could have easily been let go in 2 months, but he found his character and he got over and became this great sympathetic babyface that would have great wrestling matches. Yeah, again, it was great seeing Wesley back. I love him. He's trying to go after that North American title again against Oba, which good luck on that, Wes. But this is a good match. Overall, Wes won, and during you had Ivar, going after Josh Briggs, and then Wes dives off the top rope onto both men, and Oba's watching with amusement from the top. So, what'd you think about the match?
Very good. Very good to see Wes back in there. Very happy for him. He's definitely been one of my favorites in this current iteration of NXT. And always loved the Rascals, too, ever since Impact as well. So, just to see him and him in this singles role, and there was doubts about his singles role, and he's really made himself into a damn good singles wrestler. Yeah, I can't wait to see him and Obafemi. I think that's going to be a possible match of the year contender for NXT for sure.
Oh yeah, and that's going to be Battleground, which is next month in the UFC. Was it UFC Forum?
Apex.
There you go. After which you had Shayna Baszler versus Carmen Petrovic. Carmen Petrovic, that with that entrance, that was pretty fucking cool with the samurai.
It's awesome, yeah, really good.
Carmen's good. I like seeing more of her. She wrestled Shayna. Decent match. Nothing really to write home about. Carmen getting more and more exposure each week.
She's green. She's very green, but
right.
She has a lot to improve on. You can tell that they're going to feature her a lot this year. So,
oh yeah, they see something in her, and I do too. And then Baszler and Lola Vice are still forming an alliance. Two MMA gals. The next is, like I said, the rest of the show is kind of up and down. It's for the most part, it's an opener and a main event show. You had No Quarter Catch Crew versus Tyson DuPont and Tyreek Igwe, with special guest referee Stax. Okay, so here's the thing. I missed maybe the first half of NXT last night because my internet was down for the whole day. Fiber decided to go heel on me and just say, fuck it, we're not going to work. So
like AT&T Fiber?
Google Fiber.
Oh, yeah, Google Fiber. Yeah, their reliability. It's good internet when it works, but the reliability sucks on it.
Yeah, because me and Ruben, we were originally supposed to record our show live on here, but because the internet went down, we ended up just doing a pre-record, and I had to do it on my phone, which is no problem, but it was just like, damn, we can't record live at all. There's always a fucking problem. But, yeah, I missed a lot of NXT, so I rewatched it this morning, and there was some stuff I was just breezing by. This was one of the things I was breezing by. DuPont and Igwe defeated Dempsey and Bourne. Yeah, the two big dudes, DuPont and Igwe. I think they're good. They definitely have a likability-ness to them. But again, still very green. But did you have any thoughts on this?
Not necessarily. I mean, I thought it was really just to build up the tension between the family and No Quarter Catch crew.
All right. And
that's pretty much it. But I do want to see more of the new team, though, for sure.
And for anyone that doesn't know, Drew Gulak has been released by WWE. He was released last week. Kind of goes into the story with Ronda Rousey, where he apparently grabbed the string on her sweatpants, which there's that, but there's also news that apparently he's a bully backstage to a lot of NXT talent. One story involving a wrestler that he dropped on his head, and then Shawn Michaels reprimanded him backstage, and there's stories coming out about Drew Gulak being a bully, allegedly. Which, if that's the case, get him out of there. But I don't know. Did you have any thoughts on Drew Gulak being released?
No, I mean it's all hearsay, she say, and all that stuff. So if you got let go, I guess there was a very good reason to get let go. But I'm not gonna crucify the guy if you know what I mean. So
right,
it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Right. And let me kind of briefly...
Mistakes happen. No, I forgot to say, mistakes happen. I mean, who knows? Maybe he'll, find himself, and maybe they'll give him a second chance. Maybe it's just as like an agent or something like that, or whatever. But
right. To kind of breeze through the rest of the show to the main event, you had Michin, Mia Yim versus Ariana Grace. There was a funny backstage segment with Ariana and Chelsea Green, where they're basically just like complimenting each other, and Gigi Dolan's like, "What the fuck? Like, why am I here?" Michin won. Trick Williams was on the Supernova Sessions, and basically just kind of teasing the real life romance between him and oh god, what's her name?
Lash Legend.
Lash Legend. There you go. And I guess Trick Williams' first not much, but NXT title match is going to be against Noam Dar, which I don't know. I guess it'll probably be a good match, but I just would have expected somebody else, whoever that is. I don't know, but this segment,
I like Noam. I really like Noam, but I don't think that he should be in this position. But I really like Noam Dar, but he's not believable to beat Trick Williams at this time.
Right, agreed. Next is you had Fallon Henley versus Kalani Jordan. I was going to say Falani. Fallon, she's now a heel. She turned her back on Thea Hale last week, and Kalani wasn't too happy about it. And Fallon just saying, "Listen, I've been looking out for people my whole life. Now it's time to look out for me." Wasn't sold on the idea of Fallon being a heel, but I guess now it works better. She looks more comfortable as a heel. Maybe that's what she always wanted to do. I mean, maybe this also gives her something more interesting to do than be the happy-go-lucky babyface. Still love Fallon. I think she's great. I think she's destined to be a women's champion sometime later in the year or maybe next year. And then Kalani I love, but Kalani's still a little green, so she needs some work. But I thought this was a decent match between both women that I'm a fan of, and Henley getting the win. So, what do you think about Fallon being a heel?
I think it's a new wrinkle for her. She's gonna do well. I really like Fallon Henley in her work, and she may end up being the first NXT Women's North American Champion.
Oh yeah, there's that. They showed different vignettes for the NXT Women's Combine to see who's going to qualify for, a tournament to determine who's going to be in the ladder match for the first ever NXT North American Champion, or NXT Women's North American Champion. I'm sorry. So it's pretty fun to watch. Duke Hudson wrestled Lexis King, which where the hell has that guy been? Like there was a point where he was constantly on television, then he just got taken off. I don't know what happened. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you have any thoughts about that? Like, where do you think Lexis King has been?
No, I'm glad he's back on TV for sure.
Good. King got the win. Ridge Holland caused a distraction. So again, it's good to see King back because I like King. Now we're on the main event. You had the NXT Women's Championship, Roxanne Perez versus Chelsea Green. Last week it was revealed Chelsea Green will be the next opponent for Roxanne. I thought this was a really good match. I was a little on the fence about it because I'm like, wait, you're going to have two heels wrestle each other? But it worked. I mean, Chelsea, I love Chelsea. After this match, I'm like, they really need to showcase Chelsea as more than just a character because she can actually work. And she showcased her wrestling abilities against somebody like Roxanne who can work. And, during the match, she pulls out, a Rough Rider during the match.
Yep.
That was pretty fun. Even Vic Joseph was like, woo, 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 a Rough Rider. And, Chelsea can go.
Yeah, I think he's calling it radio silence nowadays, but yeah.
Radio silence. But I really enjoyed this match. I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone knew Chelsea wasn't actually going to win, but it was a good showcase for her, or a good showing for her against, the current NXT Women's Champion. Good showing for Roxanne, too, because Roxanne can work, and she's doing some of her best, character work, too, as a heel. And Chelsea, Chelsea's Chelsea. I love her. I kind of hope we get more from this than just, her doing her goofy, Karen shtick. But what'd you think about the match?
Well, it was really good. I mean, Chelsea's always been great. She's been great forever, ever since, her Impact days. She's fucking fantastic. Roxy is always been great as well. This heel versus heel dynamic worked, but I think that Chelsea was more the de facto babyface here for this match. Yeah, damn good women's main event. The women at NXT is the strongest part of the show for me right now, because of everything that's going on and all the women that's there. Like, they got fucking 12 women at Combine, and all 12 women make sense to be in that Combine. So it's like, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm very much, forward to looking what's going forward in NXT for the women and for the women's division.
So, who do you think is going to be in the, if you had to pick, who do you think is going to compete in that ladder match for that NXT North American title?
Sol Ruka, Thea Hale. I'll probably throw in Michin, Fallon Henley, Kalani Jordan, and Tam Paxley.
Those are literally all my choices. And it makes sense because, Fallon, I think Fallon's going to be the one that wins it. Tatum, I've been enjoying her work when she started doing, the creepy stalker girl. So I want to see more of her. Kalani, they obviously love her, and I love Kalani. Michin, she's there to help, and she's, main roster name, so good for her. Sol Ruka, she's more than likely to do some crazy shit in the match. There's no doubt about that. And what was the other one you mentioned?
Kalani Jordan?
No, I already said Kalani.
Tatum, Kalani, Jordan, Fallon Henley, Michin, Thea Hale, Sol Ruka.
Thea Hale, there you go. What about Lola Vice? You don't think she'll be in it?
No, I don't think she qualified. She didn't qualify. She didn't qualify for the Combine. She wasn't the top 12.
That's weird. But yeah, Thea's gonna do some crazy shit during that match too. So, but that was NXT. What happened on Dynamite tonight?
Dynamite was a nothing show. I mean, I don't know what you want me to say. I mean, Dynamite was a nothing show. Basically, long story short, they now have their Anarchy in the Arena match set for Double or Nothing. Gonna be the new elite of the Bucks, Okada and Jungle Boy versus FTR, Bryan Danielson and Eddie Kingston. I don't give a fuck about it.
All right then.
They made Swerve. Look, Swerve looks super weak in his tower reign so far, right? Best about the show was Mia Shirakawa. She's always gonna be the best thing about the show.
Yeah, it's just Swerve I feel terrible for. First ever African American AEW world champion, and it hasn't meant anything.
Oh, like I said, Tony's good at the build, but not the follow up. And this is the follow up.
Like Swerve is basically holding that title for Ospreay at the Wembley pay-per-view.
Man, I don't know what's going on. I mean, the Mogul Embassy turned on him, which makes sense because it's like, he hasn't really been using the Mogul Embassy. It hasn't really been part of the Mogul, been together on screen. So that makes sense. But again, just everything looks bad, man. It looks bad. Also, AEW, they just feel lost. They feel so lost right now. It feels like they're just living off of traditions. In this case, the Anarchy in the Arena. Kenny Omega gave an update. You figured that Kenny Omega will be back, but Kenny Omega's not going to be back yet. I know what they're going to be building to. They're going to be building to Blood and Guts. When you're going to bring back Omega, you're going to have it Hangman, and maybe FTR versus the Elite. I get it. I get what they're going, but it's, And I thought last week, honestly, last week's show was a sandwich show where you had a very good beginning with Swerve, and you had a very good end, with Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks and that whole angle. I enjoyed last week's angle. I really enjoyed it. I really did. But this week, it's like, what the fuck are we doing, man? I just don't know. I just don't know. But they have Mercedes out there. Willow cut a decent problem tonight. And I will say this, Adam Copeland, Edge, and Brody King, damn good main event. I really enjoyed the main event. It was nice, bloody, brawl, love it. It's good shit. Spirit through the table on the outside, great. Chris Jericho is still fat. It is what it is. I mean, it's whatever. It's whatever, man. I don't know. I'm really disappointed because I really thought they were gonna have a bounce back here, but it's getting even worse, and I hate to see it. I really do. But we'll see what happens. I don't know.
Yeah, me and Ruben were talking about it on the show yesterday for Culture Attack. Just like MJF, I mean, I know you've been saying that you think that MJF maybe secretly signed with WWE, or he just hasn't.
Did not say that,
he just hasn't re-signed with AEW. That's
he's not. I don't think he's re-signed with AEW as of yet, because they took his merchandise off the website, and that's a big revenue stream for him. Why would you take his merch off the website? That's if his merch is still on the on the AEW shop website, then I was like, okay, well, he's gonna be staying. But that's one avenue he makes money, so I don't know. Not to say that he won't be coming back. I at the end of the day, I think the chances of him signing with AEW is still quite high. I put it over WWE, but I would not be surprised if he will end up in WWE, whenever he decides to come back. But yeah,
just look what he has to come back to. No, just like I was telling Ruben, can you imagine him coming back and trying to feud with the Bucks and the Elite? He'll tear them to shreds on the mic. And
well, I mean,
he'll tear them to shreds on the mic, and then Nick Jackson will just talk in his constipated, stuttering voice. Oh yeah, Max, you're a degenerate, Max. Yeah. I don't know. Just again, I have no ill will towards the company. I want the company to succeed, but it's just a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. No, but it's just this shit ain't helping. It really isn't helping with.
What would you do? If you're in the position, what would you do to turn AEW around? What would be one of the first few things you'll do to turn around the company?
Make your world champion look like something instead of just, hey, this is the guy with the title.
Okay.
Just not make the Bucks my EVPs and just have them be talent. And just, I don't know. Again, it's easier said than done. And obviously, Tony thinks he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, but like you said, he's good at the build, but execution, just I don't know, it ain't working. Like, I don't know. He goes out of his way to make other people look better. Like, he went out of his way to make Britt Baker look like a big deal. But every other women's champion since then, I mean, with the exception of Toni Storm, with her character,
I think Toni made herself look more
right
than what Toni actually gave her. You know what I mean? Because this is her gimmick.
And every other AEW World Champion, with the exception of MJF, even though that was kind of hot and cold sometimes. Jericho, hot, with the hot and cold. He just doesn't know how to make his top stars look like top stars or mean something. If it's not one of the Bucks or Jericho.
Well, I was gonna say Punk, but yeah, never mind.
Like he's not going to discuss Punk, but I don't know. There's just so much work that they need to do. Not just to improve the content.
Would you do an overhaul of the roster? Like yes. Who will be who will be like five to seven people that you make your top guys? You have to pick.
If I had
with current roster that's currently constructed.
If I had to pick,
yeah.
I mean, MJF's not here, but whenever he does come back, he's my top guy.
Right.
Build around him. Ricky Starks. I know he's dead in the water, but Wardlow. Make him mean something. Make Hobbs mean something. So that's 4 guys. I know I'm not the biggest fan of him, but they love him. God knows why, but Moxley. They love Moxley at the end of the day. That's 5 people. There's another guy. Let me go to the women real quick. Toni Storm, obviously. And 6 people. Copeland is the guy, is pretty much the measuring stick of the company. And,
would you include Danielson in that?
That's a tough spot because I love Danielson, but I don't even think Danielson wants that spot.
Yeah, I'm just naming names. What about Darby?
Darby's my baby face. He's my sympathetic baby face, but I wouldn't build around Darby.
You wouldn't have him as so within those guys, you don't see Darby part of that group.
Once upon a time, I did, but not so much anymore.
Okay, all right.
There's some. Black. Aleister Black would have easily been a guy I'd put in my main event scene.
Okay.
So, and Brody King to an extent because he has an interesting look. But those are my guys.
Gotcha.
What about you? Who are your guys?
Oh, you're not gonna like my answers, but MJF, Kenny Omega. I mean, I'm not gonna count Danielson or Edge on that one because it just it doesn't really make sense because they're like the cool vets that are there right now. So I don't think that'll do well. But Adam Cole, Darby, love Darby. I really think he has like that look, and he's like the Jeff Hardy. Like now, I will have him calm down with the spots, but Jay White. Ospreay, Okada, like those you got guys there that you can build around, and that will make sense. Swerve is up there too as well, and as far as the women's side, you do got your women there too that you can build around too. So you got Britt Baker, you got Willow, fucking love Willow, as you know, Jamie Hayter when she comes back, Toni Storm, Thunder Rosa, so. There are women there too that they can do. Mercedes, obviously, fucking Chris Statler. There are women there you can build around too. It's just, fucking make sense of it. Yeah, I mean, you can have that's a great nucleus right there with those names I mentioned. A great nucleus.
Right. All right, let's move on. We're going over a little time, but that's fine. Let's do ratings real quick, and then we'll discuss news. Let's start back from SmackDown. So SmackDown on May the 3rd. SmackDown drew a 2.14 and a .60 in the demo. The previous week was a 2.143 and a .58 in the demo, so they actually went up this week, or last week, so that's good. Raw from this past Monday was a 1.6 and a .53 in the demo. Last week they were a 1.683 and a .55, so they're actually down this week, unfortunately. NXT from last night was a 659, a .19 in the demo. Last week they were 564 and .14, so they're actually up this week.
I think they were going against the playoffs last week.
Right. Rampage from... Oh, wait, I'm going a little overboard. Rampage from May the 1st was a 431.15. The previous week they were 293.9, so they're actually up, so good for them. And then Collision from... Where the hell's Collision at? Oh, I'm getting April 27th Collision. There wasn't a Collision this past Saturday, right?
I don't think so.
Oh, yeah, NBA playoffs, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Collision from April the 27th was a 621.21. The previous week, they were a 468.13. So, they're actually up, so good for them. But those are the ratings. Alright, so let's do some news real quick, and then we'll skedaddle. WWE Raw to remain on USA Network through the end of the year before January. And September the 12th, 2023, Endeavor and WWE closed the transaction to combine UFC and WWE to form a TKO Group Holdings. As we all know, Netflix will be running Raw at the beginning of 2025. Currently, WWE entered into a $25 million domestic media rights agreement with NBC Universal for Raw to remain on the USA Network for the fourth quarter of 2025. I believe there was a point where in October that's when the rights were going to go up, and Raw didn't really have a home for the time being until January. So for a nice little settlement of $25 million, they will be on Raw until January. So good for them. Jesus Christ, there's a gnat right in my face. Fuck. What'd you think? What do you think about that news?
Typical. I was expecting that. Yeah, so it's cool.
Nice. And we already talked about Drew Gulak. Here's kind of an interesting article. It talks about Jacob Fatu coming to WWE. Sol Sikoa has been given the biggest push of his career thus far, as his new role in the Bloodline has seen him go from the enforcer from Roman Reigns before Reigns went away to wanting to be the new tribal chief. He has brought in Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, while kicking out Jimmy Uso. Jacob Fatu. Jesus Christ, this fucking moth won't go away. Russell Votes reports that WWE has a long strategy to make Sikoa the main force within the action, but there is fear that Fatu could outshine Sikoa as of right now. Which makes sense because Fatu, made a big career for himself outside of WWE, namely in MLW and a few other companies.
It's not even just that. It came like all of everyone here in the chat has seen him in ring, but in ring wise, he clears Solo.
He is much better than Solo. Yeah.
Wow.
Solo I like, but Solo I think has kind of lost a step recently. Mainly, after he beat John Cena. Well,
I mean, that's the way he was booked. I still think he's fine.
He's good.
In
he's
the ring,
good.
But
yeah, he's good.
But he's going back up. You know what I mean? Because of the new the new bloodline. You know what I mean? But the way he was booked, I mean, yeah, obviously, he's gonna be looked at less than.
So, but yeah, do you think that's kind of a possibility that if they bring Fatu in, that he can possibly outshine Solo?
That's why you got to put him as a babyface to start her off.
All right. I mean, I never thought of it that way, but I guess that makes sense. If they still want to protect Solo, but
yep.
Next is Saudi Arabia interested in hosting WWE WrestleMania or the Royal Rumble. ESPN's Mike Coppinger noted on Twitter that Turki Al-Sheikh, the chairman of the Saudi Arabia General Entertainment Authority, said the two sides are looking for an enhancement to the deal, with it being announced later this month with the idea of seeing a major WWE PLV held overseas. It is believed that the announcement will be made during King Queen of the Ring on May the 25th. It was said that Sheikh, I'm Middle Eastern, I'm butchering this name, is looking to bring January's annual Royal Rumble or WWE's top event Mania to Saudi Arabia. WWE is booking a $50 million per show in the country. But yeah, thoughts on Mania, Rumble, or possibly any other big PLE being in Saudi Arabia?
If that's WWE wants to do, I mean, they have my blessing. That's the best way for them to make money and expand their market. They have my blessing.
Which of the big four do you think is more believable to be in Saudi Arabia?
Royal Rumble.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, because they did the greatest Royal Rumble a few years ago, so it makes more sense.
I think that's the most realistic scenario, following by WrestleMania. I think they want to keep their summer and their fall pay-per-views in North America, in my opinion.
Oh, and speaking of WrestleMania, I'm glad you brought that up. It was announced on Saturday during the 150th Kentucky Derby. WrestleMania will be in Las Vegas next year. The dates have changed, though. It will no longer be at the beginning of April. It will be on April the 19th through April 20th. So we're going to have a 420 WrestleMania in Vegas. People have been opining for Van Damme and or The Godfather to be the hosts of Night 2 of Mania. That'd be awesome. But yeah, thoughts on Mania in Vegas and the date change?
Doesn't matter about the date change to me. Don't really care. But being in Vegas, it's awesome. It's different. They haven't had a Vegas WrestleMania. It'll be a second Vegas WrestleMania since 9, which is one of the worst WrestleManias of all time. But this one here being, going to Allegiant Stadium, I think that's an awesome idea for them to do.
I love it. Yeah, it's Vegas. It makes sense. For a while, it was possibly Minnesota, which I'm like, why Minnesota? But Vegas is obviously the better choice.
I like Detroit. It's like, why Detroit?
Yeah, I guess. Another bit of news, Randy Orton on his WWE future. He did an interview with, it doesn't say who he did an interview with, talking about his future in the company. And basically just elaborated that he wants to wrestle until he's 50 years old. As of now, Orton is going to be 44 pretty soon. So he has a long ways to go. Thoughts on Orton possibly calling it a day in 6 years, or maybe even shorter than that? Heaven forbid if a injury comes about or anything else terrible to think about. But yeah, what are your thoughts?
Everyone's career has come to an end sometime.
What do you think about where would you place Orton as far as like your top 25 or 30 or 50
of all time? And are we just talking about WWE?
Just in general.
Yeah, he's top 30.
Right.
Probably 35, maybe top 30, 35.
Yeah, Orton he is somebody that, as Arn Anderson said, smooth as silk. I think the guy possibly could have wrestled in any era.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
He doesn't do anything that, in the beginning of his career, he did a lot of stupid shit as far as like in the ring goes. We're not talking about outside of the ring, but which he did.
Oh, definitely outside the ring too. Yeah, for sure.
Well, I'm talking about like in the ring when he just kept wanting to do missile drop kicks and pie spots, which I'm just like, you're 6'4". Why are you doing that? Like, even like the agents were like, you don't need to be doing that. That's Mysterio stuff. You don't need to be doing that shit. And then eventually he got hurt, and that worked into the angle of him appearing in vignettes saying my shoulder is at 65%, my shoulder is at 72%, and then he comes back, he's in Evolution, and then he eventually becomes the the youngest world champion in history.
Yep, retro, as they say.
Yeah, there you go. And just Orton has really come a long way in the past 22 years, and just what can you say? I mean, he looks like he's having the most fun out of his whole career. Like, I personally don't see him being a world champion again. And I don't think he really cares about being a world champion anymore. I just think he wants to go out there and get paid and have fun. And having fun with Kevin Owens. Like, that's a good group. And just, again, just seeing Orton in real life, with his family and being a different person. He's obviously not the same person he was, 10, 15 years ago. 15 years ago, more than likely. But I mean, there's still some good matchups. Eventually we're going to get Cody and Randy at possibly SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Maybe get Randy and whoever else that they want to put in front of him, like Carmelo, Braun, whomever. But yeah, I love me some Randy, especially lately. So he's definitely a top 30, like you just said. All right. News about Jerry Lawler. Jerry Lawler is no longer in the WWE. Him and WWE didn't want to pick up his contract, so Jerry Lawler is no longer a part of the WWE. Hasn't been doing commentary for the longest time due to health reasons. I think he did one of the pre-shows not too long ago, but he's not a part of the company anymore. In 2023, he was rushed to the hospital suffering a stroke, and then afterwards he made an appearance on I don't know if it was during a live taping or like during commercial. I just know there was a bit where Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, invited him out to the ring and gave ovation. But
right,
Jerry Lawler no longer with WWE. I mean, what do you see for him? I mean, because he looks like he has his money. I don't really think he cares to be with another company or really cares to really do anything.
I mean, he's just going to be doing. At this point, it's just conventions for him if he wants to do that. He has his restaurant in Memphis, so yeah, he's fine. He's fine.
Yeah, he's content. I just see him going, yeah, I really don't want anything to do with wrestling anymore. I'm good. So no AEW in his future. I mean, he's good.
I hear people making the pitch of have him and JR call one last match. I'm like, guys, y'all are fucking
no
stupid. Like,
I mean, again, I hate to be a jerk, but Jerry Lawler barely even knew anyone that was currently wrestling in WWE. He's not going to know anybody in AEW. So,
well, I mean, if you put like Edge versus Danielson, I mean,
probably
he knows those guys, but outside of that, no, yeah.
Nah, I think Jerry Lawler, I think, again, he's content with just chilling at home in his throne. Yeah. Literally, he has a throne in his fucking home, which is boss, by the way. But that's all the news I have. What about you? Do you have any news?
I mean, for the sake of time, I do, but yeah, for the sake of time, we can end the show.
All right, fine with me. All right, so that is the show, people. I want to thank my main man over here, Justin, as usual, for making this show the way it is, making it go by the way it is, and just making it fun. So thank you, Justin.
Absolutely.
Tell the people about Spinebuster Tees.
Spinebuster Tees, spinebustertees.com. Come visit. You are able to get many, many great t-shirts available to you at very, very low cost, less than $20. Very, very much so a lot of designs, fun designs for you guys to check out on the website, including the Just Enjoy Wrestling t-shirt, the I Am Pro Wrestling t-shirt, I Am a Mark, Hill Heat, the pineapple pizza Hill Heat t-shirt. A lot of designs on the website for you guys to check out. For Spinebuster Tees and SpinebusterTees.com. Spinebuster Tees on Instagram. Follow me on there. I have a Whatnot page on there as well. I post every day when I get new items in my shop, which is at Spinebuster Tees at Wonderland of the Americas at Crossroads Mall, San Antonio, Texas. Come visit. Got a lot of items available. A lot of new items I'm always getting. From your Funko Pops to action figures to vintage magazines to autographed 8x10s, trading cards, obviously t-shirts, lucha masks, socks, hats, keychains. I got Croc Charms now, so yeah, pretty good. Spinebuster Tees and SpinebusterTees.com. Appreciate the support. I would appreciate anyone's support to check me out. So yeah, I love what I do.
I'm glad. I'm glad you love what you do. You seem like you love what you do.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So support my boy. And if you can't make the trip to San Antonio, there's a website, SpinebusterTees.com.
Get a t-shirt. Just get a t-shirt. Support me.
T-shirt.
Good stuff.
Awesome.
You know what I mean? I know a lot of people. You know, that don't have access to a wrestling store like this where they can be able to go in and like purchase items. So. But yeah, like support, you know, small businesses, you know, it means the world to people like me. So yeah.
Yes, sir. And, where you can find me, Twitter, X, whatever you choose to call it, DY Experience. This show you can find anywhere. You can find it on Spreaker. That's the home base. You can find it on Spotify. You can find it on YouTube, iTunes, anywhere that podcasts are distributed. And as you know, we are every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Central Time, 10 p.m. Eastern here on the Wrestling Soup Discord. Thank you to Mish. Yeah, that's about it. And Culture Attack. I do a show with Ruben Prime where the show used to be behind a paywall on Patreon. Patreon is no more, so now the show is to the public. And it's a show where we just talk about pop culture. We talk about movies, TV shows, sometimes wrestling. We just did a show yesterday, and it was kind of wrestling heavy. I mean, there was some movie stuff to talk about, but it was a pretty good show. And that's a show where we don't have a set schedule just yet. For now, we're just doing it every other week, but for the next episode to drop, as well as the other former Patreon shows. We're on the show I did with RJ, the Brooklyn Savage. That show at the moment, we just need to find a schedule to do another episode because me and him have much to discuss. Me and him just talk about comics, comic books, comic book movies, Marvel, DC, what have you. So as you can imagine, me and him have a lot to discuss, especially with the season finale of X-Men 97, which is awesome, and then Deadpool Wolverine trailer, blah blah blah. And then Jeff Lippman, me and him did a show. We're still gonna have a show. That show will more than likely be monthly, since Jeff is a busy boy with his various other projects that he does. And he's also a lawyer, so if you need legal guidance or advice, speak to Jeff Lippman. I know he does like little legal shorts here for Wrestling Soup, so look for those. And just shout out to everybody else who supports the show, who's friends of ours, who supports us and loves us. And that means the world to us at the end of the day, people. But that's it for the show tonight, guys. We will be back next week, same time, same channel, God willing. And we will be seeing you soon. And one
more question before we leave. I got one question for you. Do you believe in Joe Hendry?
Now I do.
There you go.
That's Joe Hendry. If you don't believe in him, I don't know what you're doing.
His song got number 4 in the top 40.
Jesus Christ! I mean, that's amazing.
For a pro wrestler, that's awesome. No, in the UK, by the way, not the Billboard, but still though, like he hasn't for the rest of his life. He can say I had a top 5 hit in the UK. It's unbelievable.
Can't take that away from him.
Can't take that away from him. And the song's super catchy too, so that's the other thing. So,
but we are done, peeps. We will see you next week, same time, same channel, and hope to see y'all there. So take care and be safe.
Peace.